this is Russ. Yeah, I got another bike to show you guys. Yeah, take a look at this one. This is the Magicycle CT1 commuter bike. Yeah, I think this is the year for commuter bikes. There's been a lot of commuter bikes coming through this year, but they're all offering something a little bit different. So let's get right into the nitty gritty. People always ask, how much does this thing cost? All right, let's just get right into it. $15.99. All right, and that's a pretty decent price for what's offered on this bike. So the bike is offered in a variety of different colors. Tiffany blue, which is the one I have here, maroon, ivory, midnight blue, and space gray. So you have a variety of options that you can get the bike in. Okay, I decided to go with the Tiffany blue because, yeah, it's a little different. You know, when I first started looking at e-bikes, I always thought that, you know, people in my age group would probably want muted colors, but nope. I've changed my tune. I've decided that having a multiple colored bike's not such a bad thing. So Tiffany blue. Now they also give you a couple freebies too. Currently they're giving you a free cable lock and a free cell phone case that comes with the bike. So what makes this bike unique? Well, just like the other Magicycle Ocelot Pro 2.0, this bike gives you the ability to switch back and forth between a torque sensor or a cadence sensor mode. Yeah, just hit that little button in the middle, the I button, and you can switch back and forth on the fly. So that's what makes it unique. Now, some of the major features on the bike include things like a battery that is basically integrated into the down tube. This is a step-through model. And it's a 48-volt, 15 amp-hour lithium-ion battery. Okay. These things are UL certified too. People always ask about that. The motor is a 750-watt hub motor, rear hub motor. And that thing peaks out at 1,100 watts. It's got 60 Newton meters of torque. So I think a lot of times people always ask, how's it going to do on the hill test? Well, at 60 Newton meters, I'm not expecting it to do miracles. But again, this is a commuter style bike. And in order to do that well, they have to keep the weight down. Use this, the motor is not as heavy and big. And so it's going to be able to get through the hill, but maybe not as good as some of the bigger, more expensive Magicycle bikes. It's okay. We'll give it a test later and we'll see how it goes. Now I am getting over a cold, and as you can hear, my voice is still a little bit messed up, but I wanted to get this out as soon as I could because I know that Magicycle had been advertising this CT1 for a while now, and the reviews aren't even out. So I said, I've got to get it out there for them. So out here I am. The display screen, let me see if I can turn on the display screen here. Let me turn the power on. What you do is push the top button over here, display screen to kick in. This is a black and white display screen. They have a variety of different modes. Let me see if I can toggle through here. There's essentially 5 pedal assist modes, and they give it names too. What do they call this thing? 0 through 1 is eco. Number 2 to 3 is called normal, and then 4 and 5 is called sport. Okay, so that's how much extra effort the motor gives you when you're pedaling. Now you do have things like trip meters, and let's toggle through here. Maximum power, maximum levels, average levels, odometer, how long you've been riding the bike, what the wattage is, the trip meter, all that stuff. So it's all on here. It's easy to read. It's a black and white LCD display screen, but I think that makes it a lot easier to read because of it. Now up here on the top here, we do have a right-handed thumb throttle, okay? And the shifters are Shimano shifters. These are trigger shifters. Like many of the bikes now are going to trigger shifters, which is kind of nice. I prefer those over the older SIS style trigger standard shifter. So trigger shifters are nice. And then they do include the Altus from Shimano, the Altus derailleur, which is a little bit nicer. And of course, Shimano gears and everything in there. The brakes are hydraulic brakes. These are 180 millimeter rotors. They've got good braking power. It's made by a company called Logan. I've seen the Logan brakes before. They do a very good job. Not a problem with them at all. Now, the only thing that I actually added to it, as I usually do, is I added a side view mirror, which was provided to me by Magicycle, and I added my own cell phone mount. Okay, I did leave their bell on here. Okay, and the grips themselves are rubberized grips, which of course are nice because it gives you a little palm rest there. The saddle is pretty good too. I'm surprised. The saddles are getting better and better from companies. Yeah, it's nice and cushy. It's wide enough for me. I don't think I would change this out. I would leave it as it is. The rear rack comes with the bike. And what I was surprised to see is, you know, typically Magicycle uses black, blue, and black bungee cords on here, but they're all black this time. Pedals are from Wellgo. They are plastic pedals. So if you would decide you want a metal pedal or something like that, you can change it out. The seat post height is plenty high for me. Now they do include a front headlight, and there's also a rear tail light. Okay, and of course, if you hit the brakes, it'll brighten up as well. But they also give you this too. This is a self-contained blinking light. Now, this is battery powered, and of course, you just plug in the USB cable to that, and that'll charge it up. But you don't have to put that on if you don't want, but they do include it for you in case you want a blinking rear tail light. The charger is a 48-volt, 2-amp smart charger. So charging time for this battery should be about 5 to 7 hours if you depleted the battery. Total payload capacity is 400 pounds. Frame size is 26 inches. The the tires are 26 inch by, I think it's a 2.1 or 2 point something like that. Tires, I'll confirm it in a bit. The weight of the bike is 54 pounds, including the battery. So yeah, this is a lighter weight bike, which it should be for a commuter style bike. That's the way we like it. And of course, being that the tires are a little bit thinner, yes, 26 by 2.1 inch tires, kind of expect that the weight will be lower. So it'll be easier to get on and off of bike rack if you have a rear rack on your car. It'll be a little bit easier to lift on there. Of course, 6061 aluminum frame and 7 speeds for shifting. So yeah, overall, it's kind of your standard bike, but having ridden it a little bit just to get here, it feels really smooth. And I find that the noise level is very low. I mean, you can barely hear it. I think these type of tires contribute a lot. It doesn't have those big, fat, knobby type tires, so you don't hear that. And the motor is fairly quiet. All right, let me put my cell phone back on here. Yeah, it's a nice looking bike. I like the color. My wife likes the color too. Yeah, the crankset is all set up so that there's a dual chain ring guard right here, one in the back, one in front, so that'll keep the chain in place the way it should be. Shifting was really easy when I shifted around, but we'll do a test on that. The handlebar stem is an adjustable handlebar stem. It does come with it, so you can adjust it at any angle that you like. I have it at the lowest angle right now. All right, let's take the bike out for a ride, see how it feels. Yeah, overall, it's a fairly quiet bike. I think a lot of the commuter style bikes in general tend to be more quiet because the tires aren't knobby. And the motors, the way they're designed, don't have that large whine. I mean, you hear it, but it doesn't have that obnoxious whining that some bikes will do. Now I have it currently now set up for cadence sensing. So all I need to do is keep my legs moving, and we're going to be moving fairly quickly depending on my pedal assist level. Riding here, I had it on the torque sensor. Now what kind of speed can we get out of this bike? Well, it's initially shipped to you as a class 2 bike. So it is 20 miles per hour pedaled or 20 miles per hour throttled. So I asked Magicycle, is there a way to unlock this? And yes, there is. Going to the advanced settings, there is a way to unlock it. And unlocked, it can do 25 miles throttled. And I think they advertised 28 miles pedaled. Now, so far, I have not been able to get it to 28 miles, but I have been able to get it to 25. Now, and I think part of that is because the bike does have a little bit of ghost pedaling, which I'm noticing on a lot of bikes nowadays. They just don't seem to set up the ratios such that we don't have that kind of effect happening. I think what happens, though, is that when we unlock our bikes to go faster, then of course it doesn't match up with the ratios. So I guess if you look at it in terms of its initial design, let's go and hit the button here. Make sure everyone stops. Of course, one car stops, but the other car doesn't. Yeah, you always have to double check, make sure that they stop when they're supposed to stop. Yeah, I think when they design these bikes, they design it for whatever the original intent was, which is Class 2. And as a Class 2 bike, I don't think the ghost pedaling is that much of an issue. But the minute you start unlocking it and try to go faster, then the ratios become different, right? So I don't really blame the manufacturer for that, but I know many of us like to go a little bit quicker, so I know I do. Let's pass through here first. So as you know, we're heading towards the hill test. That's usually the first thing we do, is we want to see how well it does over the hill. Now, typically with the hill test, if you haven't been on this channel before, is we'll go to an area where there's a fairly large incline. And what we'll do is we'll throttle going up there. And I'll put it on pedal assist level 5, although we're not really pedaling, so it doesn't really matter. Well, I put it on there anyways. It's because people sometimes think, well, you didn't have it on 5. Well, okay, we'll put it on 5. And then what we'll do is we'll go from a dead stop and throttle up the hill. Well, and usually what will happen is the bike will go fast going up for a point, and then it's going to start slowing down because the incline is going to slow it down. And then we see how fast the bike can go over the hill by itself without pedaling, just using the throttle. Now, bikes that have a larger torque rating on their motor usually will go over the hill a lot easier than bikes that don't have as large of a torque rating. 60 Newton meters is probably average. It's not a huge amount of torque, but neither is it a small amount of torque either. So it'll be interesting to see how this bike does. There's a lot of motorized things going on here. We've got grass cutting and construction guys going on. So let's see what it does. Now, the handlebars are kind of interesting here. It's not straight across. It does have a slight curve to it. Just have to kind of angle that down so you can see that. Yeah. All right, I'm just going to leave it angled down. We're coming up to the bridge here, so I'm going to stop here. And we'll just concentrate on seeing what the speedometer does. All right, hopefully you guys can see that. So let's see what it does as we go over the hill here. So I'm not pedaling, I'm just throttling to go up. We're moving fairly well. We're at about 19 miles an hour at this point. We'll start slowing down in a moment here, which would be typical. And we're still going here. What are we getting here? 12, 11, 10.8, 8, 9.5, 9.5, 9.5. Not too bad. That's kind of pretty much what I expected. Let's go put you back up in the front here. Yeah, not too bad. I kind of expected it would be in that general range. Now, the best bikes go faster, of course. But again, like I mentioned, those are bikes that will have a larger torque rating, but they're also larger motors. So you really can't really compare this against that. But 9.5 is respectable for a commuter style bike. It didn't struggle getting over the hill. Yeah, with some bikes, you know, they really struggle. I think the The worst bikes were down into 6-something miles per hour getting over that hill. People who don't have an e-bike have had to walk up that hill. they can't pedal up over that hill sometimes. So yeah, not too bad. Okay, so let's move on. We're going to go over towards the forest preserve area, and we'll see how it goes. Handlebars are kind of nice. This is not the first time I've had handlebars that are kind of like this, where they kind of tilt back towards you. I have a couple other bikes that are similar in that regards, and I kind of like them. They don't have me stretched out so far because if it was straight across, you'd be leaning more forward, and I'm not. And if I wanted it even closer to me, all I have to do is just change the adjustable handlebar stem and tilt it upwards. Like I said, this is tilted down as far as it goes, and it seems fine even just like that. So, but if you like a more upright riding position, or you want that handlebar a little closer to you, yeah, you can do that. All right, we're gonna pick up again after I make this crossing. It's usually pretty noisy over here, so I'll pick up again with you guys once we cross over to the other side. All right, I'm back. It's always noisy at the intersection, so I just kind of cut it off at that point. All right, the speed limit on this trail is 15 miles per hour, and we'll try our best to stay within that general range. But I've been known to go a little bit quicker on the tests. Plus, when you go down that hill, you're gonna speed up. We already know that. So what's my impression so far of the bike? Actually, the bike seems to ride really well. On a cadence sensor mode, the bike picks up pretty fast when you're on pedal assist level 5. Just have to rotate your wheels a little bit, rotate your pedals a little bit, and you're gonna move. Torque sensor, yeah, you have to put a little effort in. If you want a little bit of exercise, move to the torque sensor mode. Let me switch over to the torque sensor. What's the nice part is you can just push the button and it'll switch it to you. So we're on torque sensor at this point. Yeah, you can tell the difference. The minute you switch to torque sensor, you can feel the resistance, and it's gonna move based on how much pressure you put on that pedal. So if you want the exercise, do the torque sensor. If you've got knee problems like me, or you just want to move and not really put a lot of effort in, yeah, do the cadence sensor mode. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to cadence sensor. Getting a little lazy. I'm gonna lower my pedal assist too. Pedal assist level 5 kind of moves a little quickly for me here. I don't want to go that fast. Yeah, it's a very smooth riding bike. I think if you're one looking for a lighter weight bike, this might be the bike for you. If you want something that could do both cadence sensor and torque sensor, this might be the bike for you. If you're looking for a step-through bike, this is definitely a bike for you. I think the step-throughs are becoming more popular. Yeah, more and more people are opting for this. You know, the old adage of that's a girl's bike, that's a boy's bike, that's no longer the case. Yeah, many of my bikes now are step-through bikes. I find it a lot more convenient. You do have to watch out though. I mentioned before, you don't have a bar between your legs. If you step off the bike, don't let go of the handlebars, because the bike's gonna flop over to the left or the right. There's nothing there holding it. And a lot of us guys are used to having that bar between our legs to hold up the bike. Yeah, that's not gonna be the case here. So you gotta know that. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I'm beginning to like these commuter style bikes more and more now. I was a fat tire bike guy, as you know, and I still like my fat tire bikes, but there's something to be said about a nice quiet bike, a nice smooth riding bike. and they're more nimble. You can maneuver these a lot easier. I can do U-turns with this thing. I have a hard time doing U-turns sometimes with the fat tire bikes. Pass through here. All right, we're gonna have to cross through this intersection. This is the toughest intersection to cross. I've said that many times. So I will pick it up again once we cross through. All right, I'm back. We have crossed through. That was an easy cross. Usually it's really difficult for me to cross through there. So yeah, the commuter style bikes are, I think, a lot easier for most people to ride. Yeah, it's kind of like riding your old bike, right? But you have a lot of help with the motor. So overall, what's my impression? Well, $15.99 for a bike that can do both torque sensor and cadence sensor. I think that's a pretty good deal. Yeah, it goes plenty fast. You know, it's not 100% class 3 where it does 28 miles an hour, but you know, 25 miles an hour, there goes another squirrel. I tell you, these squirrels just run right out in front of you. The 25 miles an hour is plenty fast. The lady is walking a baby in a baby carriage. Yeah, I like it. Now you may say, Russ, you always say you like every bike that you have. It's true. It's true. I usually like every bike that I have. But as you know, I've picked and choose the bikes that I will help represent, right? Magicycle was the first company who ever gave me a bike. They were the first one that actually trusted my ability to check their bikes out. Okay, we're gonna have to slow down here. I don't think those people knew that I was there. Yeah, they were the first company that gave me a bike to review. That's the Magicycle Cruiser. I still have the Magicycle Cruiser. Yeah, I do. And so every bike that was offered from Magicycle has been given to me, and I've been very proud to represent their products. Their bikes have always performed. I can't say I've been dissatisfied with any of their bikes in the sense that I said I would never want to ride this bike again. Nope, like them all. There was a snake too, by the way, I just passed through. It's just laying there. Yeah, a little garter snake, I think. The animals are out. You gotta keep an eye open. You run things over if you don't. So let me say this about Magicycle. They've always been one to help me whenever I had any issues with anything. If I had a concern about something, they've taken my suggestions and acted on some of the suggestions as well. I wouldn't say everything, but you know, a number of things that I've mentioned says, hey, you guys maybe should consider this or something, and they'll act on it. So I'm glad to hear that they take my input seriously. But yeah, this one is really nice. Their very first commuter bike was a single-speed belt-driven model, which I don't believe they offer any longer. That was one of my favorite bikes. Yeah, it was very, very quiet. You talk about stealth quiet. Yeah, you can't even hear that bike. And there's no gears, right? And it's belt-driven, so it's very, very quiet. It's a more traditional styled bike, you know, it kind of looked like a road bike. But I think between that bike and this bike, you know, both being commuter style bikes, I think my preference would be this one, yeah. Because I have options here. Okay, maybe it doesn't have the belt and it, you know, it's It's not as light as weight as the other one, but it's got a bigger battery, and it's got more power to it. That bike would do like 20 miles an hour, and that's about it. This one will do 25, you know, when you unlock it. And because it has gears, I can go up and down hills, you know, while pedaling if I wanted to. So, yeah, I think it's an improvement. Yeah, definitely an improvement in the commuter style arena. Yeah, it feels really good. It feels real good. I like the styling of it. I like the color of it. I know my wife likes the color of it as well. Yeah, let me angle my cell phone mount here. I think it's slipping on me here. I was trying to get to the bell, and I go, "Where's my bell?" It's being hidden by the cell phone mount. And I think going forward, I'm going to move that cell phone mount to the right-hand side so it doesn't cover my bell. I typically put my bells on the opposite side of wherever my throttle happens to be. And it actually came with the bell in that position. The only thing I did is I moved the pedal assist and the bell inwards a little bit so that I had some space to put a side view mirror over here. But otherwise, it's pretty much stock at this point. And I think that's plenty to do too. I don't think it needs anything more than that. We'll cross through here first. So yeah, do I recommend? Yes, I highly recommend. It's a nice bike. It's priced competitively. It offers some features that not all the bikes have. The cadence sensor and torque sensor option. It's got an adjustable handlebar stem. It's got a nice handlebar. Kind of like the handlebars like this. It tilts back towards you a little bit. It's got trigger shifters. It's got a nice Shimano derailleur. The Altus derailleur is always really nice. Display screen is nice too because it's easy to see. Man, I don't have any problem seeing this display screen. You know, I know a lot of companies like to use the color display. Overall, I kind of like the standard black and white LCD displays. They've always been easier to read. So, yeah, I like it. Let's take a look at this other spec here. I'm just kind of triggering back and forth between power rating. So yeah, it tells you how much power you're actually using on your battery. 840 something watts I was pushing while throttling there. Now, yeah, you could basically tell based on the power meter itself how much you're eating up your battery or not eating up your battery. So yeah, I recommend, definitely, if you're looking for a commuter style bike, you want something lighter in weight, something easier to move around, just getting around town, yeah, definitely look into this. Now there is a front basket option. They don't have any baskets out as of yet, but I did make a request to send me one as soon as they had it available. And of course I'll do a follow-up to show you what the basket looks like. There are mounting points on the side of the it's not directly on the front of the head tube, but it's on the side of it. And it'll mount up at that point. It does come with fenders. So yeah, if you're interested in one of these bikes, go ahead and use the affiliate link that I have in the description of the video. It helps me out quite a bit. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. I'll talk to you guys next time.